Saludos a todos, bienvenidos una vez más a Repachol, bienvenidos una vez más a las aventuras del King y Harry de Dubaus, teniente y efector segundo. 10 años activos con 3 bajas y 216 casos para abiertos, digo cerrados. Verás, estamos al final del día. King ha venido a salvarnos, a rescatarnos de la pésimo mal encuentro que hemos tenido con nuestro pasado. Revisando nuestras libretas, encontramos una carta de amor de cuando Harry y su ex andaban juntos. Y el dolor ha sido tan fuerte que el propio Harry casi le da un paro cardíaco. Menos mal vino King al final del día a rescatarnos, cosa que King no estaba, pues. Y ahora
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you.
The
rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Bueno, y ahora con Kim vamos a empezar a investigar las cosas que habíamos encontrado antes, pero no podíamos cerrarlas sin él. Abrimos el candado con la llave.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Vamos.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area, its black halls and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum.
¿Por qué el mundo interior habla de la zona maldita?
In the heart of the city.
¿El corazón de la ciudad, la iglesia? ¿Qué? ¿Por qué ese comentario? ¿Nos ponemos enigmáticos ya al empezar el episodio? Bueno, tenemos varias cosas que hacer con King. El cadáver, mi carro, mi carruaje, la iglesia, los drogadictos. Wow. ¿Qué es esto? Te invade una extraña quietud. Será mejor no corras. Camina. Patrones sin sac, igual que los que vistes afuera. Escarabajo de la corteza. No, parece intencionado. Es algún tipo de grabado antiguo. Bueno, si el mundo interior me está diciendo que camine. Esa grotesca figura de madera parece sin acabar. ¿Y esto? Una pizarra está llena de ecuaciones complejas. Parecen recientes. ¿Tendrá algo que ver con las radiofrecuencias? Un cuenco lleno de agua. Hay un cable de corriente conectado directamente a él. ¿What? Sí, pues, qué extraño. ¿Qué es esto? Puede que los cables funcionen como micrófonos de contacto. Había otra idea que me había salido. ¿Qué es este sonido?
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Espera, creo que todavía oigo algo.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Gritar tan fuerte como puedas.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
¿Qué? Aplaudir y dar pisatones más fuertes.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Oye, King, ¿qué es esta brujería?
The lieutenant points to his ears, and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Casi nada, lo cual me está empezando a preocupar.
The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Sea lo que sea, sin duda es real. Aquí pasa algo raro.
The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Mirar hacia el campanario.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Hay percepción. Percepción, percepción. Tienes varios puntos y encima con habilidad aprendida. A ver. Vamos a intentar ver más allá de las sombras. Wow.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
Seguir los movimientos de la sombra.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
¿En el techo?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
Pestañear. No, parece que ya lo hemos perdido. ¿Y eso?
You
Ahí
see
está.
something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Wow. Este es el hombre cangrejo.
The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently.
Tiago.
The crab man.
Esto... ¿Qué pregunta? ¿Qué más hacemos? Policía, muéstrate.
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
El lugar indicado para qué.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
Ya perdí la cuenta de cuántos drogadictos hemos interrogado.
Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Supongo que tengo un problemilla y que últimamente me ha ido mal, pero...
Está crudo, güey. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it.
Estoy muy en contacto con mi sufrimiento. Créeme, casi me muero ayer.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc el vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
Este es una combinación de mexicano con inglés, inglés de Inglaterra, europeo.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Sorry again. El alcohol, qué estupidez, ni siquiera sé qué. No sé por qué, pero creo que les daban el clavo.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
Vale. Yermo de la realidad. No,
This
ya.
is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
Bienvenido seas.
This mother of silence sounds like a serious player. You might want to be careful until you find out what you're dealing with.
Tú debes ser el hombre cangrejo.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
Lo siento, es que no te movías como un ser humano.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
¿Qué eras antes de convertirte en el hombre cangrejo?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
Güey es esto... Español, no, mexicano. Sigo perdiendo la memoria, pero es el prestigio. Tanta gente perdiendo la memoria, ha de ser un prestigio. Es manero, pero mis recuerdos de esa época están borrosos. Yo también he perdido la memoria, pero me alegro. Es como si tuviera la oportunidad de crear un nuevo yo, empezar desde cero.
That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself over to service. Service of the mother, that is.
Vale, te hago.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's just trying to assert some control over the conversation.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
Me llamo Harry.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
Vale, hombre, no seas tan negativo, tan cerrado. ¿Qué hacen en un sitio como este?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there, a way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
¿Quién es esa madre del silencio del que no para de hablar?
Oh, that's no simple question, I said. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
¿Qué pasa cuando bebas de esa perforación?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
¿Estás seguro de que no cambiaste una droga por otra?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
La fe es como una droga.
I heard that before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
Todos los días.
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
Creo que mi droga fue el amor. Creo que todavía cargo con las consecuencias.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
¿Qué hago? Este hombre habla tan... que a veces no le entiendo mucho. O sea, él ha estado en las últimas en el este y luego se metió en religión. O sea, es lo que puedo entender. Supongo que tienes razón. Así de insensible, lo siento. Sigamos. Supongo que tienes razón. Bueno, vamos a darle la razón a ver a qué nos lleva.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I
Sí,
know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
Sigo sin entender qué haces en la iglesia.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
¿Puedes cantarme algo? A ver.
I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
¿Silenciosa?
He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Vale. ¿Cómo encontraste siquiera este lugar?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
Tengo más preguntas.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Llevas mucho tiempo aquí, ¿no? ¿Sabes por qué esta iglesia está abandonada?
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Unos pastilleros quieren convertir este sitio en un club nocturno.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
Y bien, ¿qué te parece lo del club?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
Vale.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
¿Sabes dónde está el otro labradito? Me refiero al que está de las máquinas.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Y así que vive otra persona aquí en la iglesia. ¿Y es una viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young.
Y
Age
no
is
sabe,
just one of the many masks we wear.
¿Y no sabe dónde está?
That's what I said, Holmes.
¿Cómo es que no lo sabes si ambos vivís aquí?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
Entonces, ¿no tienes nada más que decirme cómo es, a qué se dedica, quién es?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
Or search through her radio computer.
Vale, de acuerdo. Pues gracias, Tiago. Tiago, el hombre cangrejo. Un fragmento de cristal vuelto muy colorido. Un hombre que perdió la memoria por el amor de la Virgen silenciosa. ¿Qué es esto? Bufanda de seda pandillero pequeño, hombre de verdad. A ver, pongámosla como nos queda. Acá, mira, suena acá extraño. Mira. Solamente acá suena ese sonido. Pero afuera vuelven los sonidos normales. ¿Qué pasa si trato de hablar con Kim acá?
Yes? What do you want to know?
Vale, no.
Good.
Nada, vaya que acá pues sí podemos hablar normal. Aún así es extraño. ¿Y esto? Una araña, tejido de araña, pero de columna. ¿Zapatos? Brogue rojo de pandillero mezqueño. Empatía. Dinero. Esta será su ropa de pandillero del sujeto, o la que se dejó antes de convertirse en el hombre cangrejo. Todo esto son las máquinas de la viejita. Una grabadora portátil jabón. Ups. ¿Estará grabando algo? La bobina del magnéfono están girando vacíos.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Sí, pero esta máquina es igual que la de la zona maldita.
It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
The one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Fell mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer.
Espera, déjame trastear un poco.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater.
¿Reproducir?
The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver.
Good evening. Votre accident on Saint-Brun. This is the East Insulindian Repeat Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Joan, soy yo otra vez. ¿Cómo está?
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
Fortress accident como en la zona comercial.
I have two machines registered to this company name in Martinaise. One on Saint-Brun, the other on Rue de Saint-Ghislaine.
Saint-Brun, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, that's the doomed commercial area.
Oh.
Anything else I can help you with?
He mirado dentro del núcleo, pero en la etiqueta de filamento solo pone registro febrero de marzo.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something.
No me sé la contraseña.
Received. I will register. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Preguntémosle, caballero.
The machine's keyboard is...
Puede ser que el de acá haya escuchado la contraseña. O es lo que sugiere aquí.
Oh, hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I meant the mother's love.
¿Por casualidad no habrás escuchado a la viejita decir la contraseña de su computadora?
Too many times, ese. You need it for something.
Sí, la necesita para un caso de homicidio en primer grado en Martinaise.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrow, but doesn't say anything.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity la niñita pequeña when I hear it.
De acuerdo,
I think we're
gracias.
done here, ese.
That was an interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.
Ya verás, King, ya verás. Ten paciencia. Creo. Ni yo mismo sé. Yo quiero saber más de este mundo más que todo.
The machine's keyboard is still... The speaker comes...
Good evening.
Probamos otra
Votre
vez.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Tras vida muerte.
Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Gracias, voy a colgar.
Sleep well, votre accident.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons.
Imprimir.
The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks at the first entry made on the 4th of February, 51, by an unknown author. It's short and concise. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering,
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while.
¿Crees que la bitácora podría tener relación con el caso?
Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
Leer la segunda entrada.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out the electricity. See? Even one of the spookers themselves says it's unnerving.
Tercera entrada.
7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking ESCA series, something advanced.
¿Por qué necesitaría una antena?
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
Cierto. Vamos por la cuarta.
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Tengo que descubrir qué causó la pérdida de datos y se acabó. ¿Pérdida de datos? ¿Qué sentido? ¿Un accidente? ¿Qué pasó? Sigo sin entender cómo se pudo borrar toda la copia de seguridad cuando ni siquiera estaba conectada. ¿Qué? ¿No estaba conectada al aparato y se borró el esto? ¿No se habrá dañado, capaz? ¿Pérdida de datos?
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading.
Artistas, programadores, Lexi... ¿Quién toda esta gente?
I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
Vale, o sea, ellos... el centro comercial cerró, pero ellos siguieron trabajando en el proyecto. Ya sea como freelancers, fuera del esto, como un hobby. La quinta entrada.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinaise people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place.
Okay, Kim.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics.
Lintel es una zona. Llevo enviando datos a Lintel, a esta zona, pero intentando crear la pérdida de datos, pero sin resultado. Y de hecho parece que las ondas se las traga. Pues le llama la tragadera.
Is she talking about?
Sí.
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
Pero ¿qué clase de rareza puede ser? O sea, es una especie de zona en donde no hay sonido. O sea, no hay sonido, no solamente no puede pasar ningún tipo de información. ¿Será posible que estas zonas tengan que ver con la pérdida de memoria? O sea, o pérdida de datos. O sea, a ver, en el cerebro la información, bueno, si bien se guarda como bioelectricidad, estas se pueden interpretar como ondas. Estas emisiones de ondas de radio que contienen información también no pueden pasar por acá. ¿Será posible que eso tenga que ver con la pérdida de memorias que hay bastantes acá en Martinaise? A ver, ¿pero qué clase de rareza podría ser?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples.
Lee la octava entrada.
March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good, I don't want anyone distracting me from my work. That disco man must be a cell.
Sí, hacele. La chica pobre que está por sus audífonos.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
Sí, vamos por la novena.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinaise. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How Martinaise of her.
Sí, ese fui yo. Fui yo quien lo vino a comentar. Y la niña debería de ser Placense.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine.
Bueno, ¿qué se le va a hacer?
No. It was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines.
Sí.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping energy drinks. Water. Toothpaste. Gum. Also, some canned air. Your reading was interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Sona la programadora. Sona la programadora. Sona.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Hemos venido por un caso paralelo en presentación de ciertos empresarios del mundo de la música. No estamos solo invadiendo, sigo en las pistas de mi identidad perdida.
You won't find any answers from here.
¿De verdad?
It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Ajá. Interesante. Sabiendo la política dentro de la... momentito. No me había fijado en esto.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad. This is her innocence, Dolores Day.
Dolores Day.
Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
No.
Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, as if under a microscope.
Mirar arriba.
The woman looks down at you standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You.
Es... ¿Qué es? ¿Qué me está mirando? Es... ¿Qué es qué? Es dolor, remordimiento. Es compasión.
As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Haz lo mismo.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times as you stand in the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles, her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
Es Dolores Day.
Yes. I wasn't sure before, but this must be the Dolorian Church of Humanity in Martinaise. It's called the Small Pinewood Church in some records.
¿Conoces el sitio?
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
Chachi pistache. ¿Qué más sabes?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials.
Las 7 hermanas, y ella es una de ellas.
We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? A pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out.
¿Sabes por qué fue abandonada?
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces.
¿Quién llevó a cabo esa redada?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
Oh, por Dios, tu comisaría. Ay, Dios mío. ¿No estás seguro?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
No recuerdo haber estado aquí.
I am pretty sure it was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything more about it, why it was conducted, or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
Si realmente estuve aquí, debería averiguar qué es lo que estuve haciendo.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinaise now.
Kim, ¿tú eres seguidor del dolorianismo?
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are Dolorian in origin.
No te tomaba por alguien espiritual.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The Dolorian system does not demand faith, only accordance.
A ver, vamos a subirnos enciclopedia y visión espacial para intentar esto. A ver, enciclopedia. Sí, tenemos que hacer esto todo el rato para buscar. Acá está, 2. Tengo que intentar uno. Primero tratamos con el de enciclopedia. Y luego tratamos con misión espacial.
The mother of humanism stands above you. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived.
Dato curioso, acá en Perú existe la que es la Virgen de los Dolores. Y es una virgen local que se representa ahí, hacen su festividad en junio, en abril creo, en una procesión. Nada más, ese es el dato curioso. No sé si estará basado en esta idea de la Virgen de los Dolores, de su inocencia Dolores Day, por el nombre quiero decir.
No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Espera, ¿qué es exactamente una inocencia?
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit.
¿Un gobernante?
More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate innocent rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
¿Hay alguna al mando actualmente?
No, we are alone.
De acuerdo. ¿Cuándo comenzó su gobierno entonces?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
¿Qué más debo sacar de ella? Saber acerca de ella.
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marquise, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Seran, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
De acuerdo, algo más. Era inteligente.
Terribly. Women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state. As she was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
O sea, inocencia es como una santa, como la Santa María la Cantuta, o la Santa María Rosas. ¿Cómo es posible esto?
It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt.
¿Qué tenía de aterradora?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. Terrifying. It's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
No tenía algo malo. Me gustaría saber el qué.
You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
¿Qué sucedió?
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity.
Vale.
She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Freighter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes.
Lo siento, estaba pensando.
What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
Ella era una santa, pero también se iba a las armas cuando necesitaba. Pulmones resplandecientes, hay que joderse.
Yes, glowing lungs are quite unusual. After that one time, they have not been reported to glow. You know, this church, the coast, we shouldn't linger. Finish what you came here to do and let's move on. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
Vale, vamos a... Ahora vamos con visión espacial. Tenía otro de visión espacial por acá. O ya me lo he puesto. Sí, creo que ya me lo he puesto. A ver.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass. The shards glimmer in the dark.
Qué cólera. Bueno, vámonos de acá. Ah, no, espera. Tenemos que hablar con la chica. Me estaba olvidando. ¿Qué pasa?
Hey, her innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
¿Qué?
You have the headless Falcon Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back.
Sí, debería. Lo añadiré en mi lista de tareas.
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious.
¿Qué tengo que hacer? Regalarle la figurita. Es una aficionada de figuritas, se me dice más. Si algún día conoces en persona, voy a regalarle una a todas las que tengas. Es una tarea un tanto extraña. Otro recomendar, pero bueno, aquí estamos. Tengo que darle. Bueno, tengo algunas figuras, pero.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and Why?
Porque es una vidriería.
That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else?
¿Cómo que? ¿Sigues queriendo hacerlo?
I don't know. What are we thinking of? Part of your mind has gone on to other things already.
Entonces, ¿qué quieres hacer? Reaccionen. No te entiendo. Si tú no te entiendes, ¿yo cómo te voy a entender? Aún si eres parte de mí.
Only a strange little sadness remains.
¿Qué?
The mother of humanism towers above you.
Entonces, ¿a quién tengo que buscar? No entiendo. Bueno, Zona.
What is it?
Por si acaso eres la programadora jefe de WinRAR Unteret.
Yes. Or no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
No está roto, ¿verdad?
No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
Perdona, pero ¿quién eres? ¿Y qué estás haciendo aquí?
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
¿Has visto al hombre cangrejo?
No?
¿Pero sabes quién anda por ahí?
Yes.
Él te ha visto.
And?
El hombre cangrejo te ha visto.
I don't care. I don't care about crap men.
Wow, she really doesn't. Not afraid, this one.
¿Por qué hay tanto aparato en este sitio?
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything.
¿Por qué la antena?
I use the AR1 as my RAIN prefix processing unit.
REM Prefect, es tu radiocomputadora, ¿cierto?
Mm-hmm.
¿Y esa antena es unidad de procesamiento?
Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you?
Al contrario, soy un maestro circuitinador, lo sé todo.
Then you certainly know that all radio computers perform operations on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna.
O sea, básicamente las radiocomputadoras no funcionan por internet, sino utilizan ondas de radio, básicamente. ¿Y la R1 es una buena antena?
I guess it is. So far, I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinaise is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieus dedicated to that sort of thing.
¿Y qué haces con la radiocomputadora?
I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core, the light casting her face in a strange shadow.
¿Trabajando en qué?
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something.
¿Qué hay de los cuencos de agua?
They are connected to my RAIN prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay?
Vale,
Thanks.
no intentaré tocar nada. Siguiente pregunta.
Great.
¿Qué estás haciendo en una iglesia abandonada?
You really like those questions, don't you?
Estás ocupando un espacio público. Quiero saber qué estás haciendo aquí.
I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out.
¿Qué investigación?
I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
¿La ubicación de un agujero de 2 mililitros? ¿Qué? 2 mililitros. No, mililitros, no, milímetros. Perdón. ¿Qué? ¿Un agujero 2 milímetros?
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said.
Sí, pero ¿no era de 3 metros?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
¿El agujero guarda relación con la pérdida de datos que menciona en tu bitácora?
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that.
Un agujero en el mundo. ¿Qué significa eso exactamente?
Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing.
¿Qué extraño? Es como un agujero negro, pero no absorbe esto, las cosas, sino absorbe ondas. O capaz es muy débil para absorber cosas y por eso absorbe la materia que puede, las ondas. ¿Eso?
What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
That's a little above your pay grade at the moment.
Un momento, ¿eso quiere decir que ahorita nuestro mundo tiene agujeros?
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out?
No entiendo ni cómo estamos hablando de algo que no existe, así que mucho menos consigo entender cómo medirlo.
You measure it by its surroundings, by that which does exist, which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence, to find out where it begins. But honestly, it's not progressing very well.
¿Alguna idea de dónde puede estar este agujero?
Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark, most of the tower disappearing into the shade. Strange things may flourish in the dark.
¿Por qué aquí?
There's this place at the back of the church, a place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow, and the higher you go, the less you record.
O sea, que si yo me colgara arriba en el techo, no escucharía nada. Esta cosa básicamente está en el aire.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place.
Por ahí es donde pulula el hombre cangrejo.
I know.
¿Crees que de alguna manera él podía ser el responsable?
No, I don't.
Ha dicho que la investigación no iba bien. ¿A qué se debe?
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work.
Eso es todo cuando quería saber sobre el aterrador agujero 2 milímetros en el mundo, por ahora.
Great. Thanks.
Oye, ¿qué opinas de la música anódica?
What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard.
Ay, extracción. ¿Te hago caso? ¿Te has para escucharla? De verdad, quiero decir.
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really ease up with their partying, do they?
No.
Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music.
Claro, pero ¿qué te parecería un club de música dance anódica?
This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here.
No, entonces, ¿qué es lo que quieren montar?
Take a guess, why don't you?
Tengo entendido que planean montar un laboratorio de drogas.
Bingo! That's exactly what they're up to.
Ah, wonderful.
Sobre quién que te hayas tenido que enterar de esta manera.
Now this house of worship is also going to be a drug lab. Always something fascinating happening in tents.
Solo están fomentando una cultura juvenil proactiva. No tiene nada malo. ¿Cómo le digo? Ay, Diosito King, también te enteras de esta manera. No decir nada.
So that's settled. Great. No nightclubs in the church then.
Venga, te dejaré trabajar, tranquila. Pues no parece que quiera cooperar con esto. Chicos, no parece que no quiere. Pero también ustedes quieren hacer un laboratorio de drogas. También no se pasen, pues. Bueno. Antes de ir con los chicos de acá, porque esa conversación va a tardar bastante, tenemos que ver el otro punto, que es el cadáver del puerto. cadáver que está ahí esperándome todo el día que vaya con quien para recogerlo. También tengo en el saco. ¿Qué hora es, King? Uy, ya van a ser las 11. Ahorita tú ya te duermes ya. Ah, cierto, ya es de noche. ¿Podría hacer la llamada ahora?
A metal
¿Podré
payphone under
sobrevivir?
a yellow plastic dome. There's a bitter, caustic taste on the tip of your tongue as you look at the handset.
Harry, ¿podrás sobrevivir a
Life
esta
is
llamada?
garbage.
Fuerza, Harry, fuerza.
You dial the number again. 26 pulls of the rotary dial. The machine eats the coin, and a terrifying ocean of distance rustles in your ear. In the middle of it, a familiar ring. Small, distorted. Calling, calling,
Dejar que suene.
calling, 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 calling. It looks like she doesn't want to pick it up, Harry. Stop scaring her.
Dejar que suene. ¿Por qué?
Come on, you know why.
Dejar sonar todavía.
Calling, calling.
Harry, please.
Ah, Harry. Harry, dile que has olvidado todo. Dile que ya no es nada, ya pasaste. Porque si tú no lo dices y lo afrontas, vas a solamente estar huyendo. ¿Qué mejor forma de decirle que no sabes qué decirle quién eres? Necesito saber quién eres. Necesito respuestas a mi misterio.
I'm going to hang up now, okay?
Phone hanging up. Disconnect tone.
Me voy a morir. Me voy a morir. Antes grabaré un guardador rápido.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome.
¿De verdad es tan difícil
There's
conversar
a
con
life
él?
is garbage.
Bueno, sí. Pero, Harry, Dios mío, tú estás en las últimas, literalmente. O sea, por una cárcel esto, ¿cómo te has puesto?
You dial the number again. Calling, 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 calling.
Oh, por Dios.
Despair creeps into you, getting fat
Oh, por Dios.
on your
Oh,
weakness.
por Dios. Oh, por Dios.
You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
He desperdiciado toda mi vida. Protegen a las personas para que no se lo merecen.
I don't dispute that you have been charged with protecting the people of a particularly challenging district. But poverty does not make one a loser. Poverty is just poverty.
Nothing you can say would make you feel any better now.
Y Harry quedó ahí. Roto, con el corazón roto.
Cop gives up the detective genre for social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown. He now lives under a bridge, drinking and occasionally throwing excrement at passers-by, shouting, "I never loved that woman." When asked to comment, former colleagues objected to the theory that his psychological disintegration was precipitated by his wife leaving him. "It's because the Furrows lost that match," said Captain Ptolemy Price, once the man's superior officer. "It's because he couldn't get a big gun from acquisitions, and anyway, police work really burns you out after a while," Satellite Officer Jean-Vic Mayer, the deranged former cop's partner, commented. Sergeant Matt Torson, another former colleague, did not propose any theories, merely saying, "Whatever happened to him wasn't about birds. He got fucked, that's all."
Otro final malo. Carguemos partida. Ay, Harry. Harry. Nunca vas a poder vencer a tus demonios interiores, parece. Bueno, dejémoslo acá. Dejemos la llamada. Llamemos el siguiente día. No puede ser, Harry. ¿De verdad tanto te cuesta enfrentarte a tus demonios interiores? Que algo me suba la moral, que me voy a morir. No, era por acá. Harry, King. Vamos acá con cuidado, que la madera está por acá en medio. Sí.
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle.
Hold on. Looks like he's been dead for a while. I'm surprised no one found him before you came along.
¿Quién es este hombre?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
A dead working-class man with a bottle in his hand? Don't deceive yourself. You know who this is.
Sí, sabemos quién es él. Es el marido desaparecido de la mujer de clase obrera, muerto sobre estos tablones.
The woman you met at the book stand? Why do you think it's her husband?
La chaqueta de cuero encaja perfectamente con la descripción.
The bright blue lining? Well, he's definitely someone's husband.
¿Qué crees que pasó aquí?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
¿Crees que estaba borracho?
Oh, yes.
Intoxicación etílica y fallo hepático.
Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression, unpredictable behavior. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
¿Y el kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
Bueno, habrá que reclamar responsabilidades por el tablón roto, es un peligro.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk.
Pongan una tabla más fuerte, ¿no tanto les cuesta?
Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
Dudo que eso tenga que ver con el linchamiento. Vámonos.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
¿Quién es este hombre entonces?
Looks like one.
¿Sí te
That's
parece?
A dead working...
Ya.
the woman you met at the book stand.
El carnet de
Why do you
biblioteca
think
tiene
it's
un libro
her
que devolver.
husband? I can't see a book. So he took the book to the library, then came back and thought, I'll have one.
I'll have one drink before I get home.
Uno, pero hay varias botellas.
The view from the lookout is beautiful.
Damn it. He's definitely someone's husband.
¿Qué hacemos con él?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
Un momento, ¿no vamos a hacer la autopsia?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me.
Sí, tienes razón.
I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
Tienes razón, aquí no veo señales de crimen. Dejémoslo ahí.
Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest.
Nosotros lo encontramos, deberíamos encargarnos.
Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema.
Vale. Examinemos el carnet. Ahora sí me da para examinarlo. Canal biblioteca hallado en el bolsillo del cadáver con el que te topaste, en el paseo marítimo de Martinaise. Todavía está ligeramente húmedo el tacto. El frontal lleva el sello de la biblioteca pública de Jamrock.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased or his family member.
Mirar dentro.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinting Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Mira por detrás.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock.
Desde las 9 hasta las
Business
6.
hours, 900 to 1800.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about the...
Perfecto. Ya tenemos otro resuelto. Tenemos que hacer la llamada y sabremos quién es quién. Si ese es. Pero ahora... ¿Puedo usar el viaje? No, tengo que llegar caminando. Tenemos que ir a la aldea. A ver, hay otra cosa que tengo que preguntarle aquí. Esto del mural. Del fósil al pinto. Por algún motivo o reacción quería escuchar la opinión de Kim. Bueno, capaz tendrá algo que ver. ¿Quién había dicho que por el tema de su familia, de los exiliados, algo así? Ya se han ido a dormir los señores, el señor y su hijo. Y a ver, un ratito vamos a grabar porque no corro el riesgo de que me quiera morir otra vez.
A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades standing 10 meters from them. A single person stands on the sideline.
¿Quién era quien estaba ejecución? No, perdón. ¿Quién era quien está en ejecución?
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
¿Y si el personal de Field, cuando los revolucionarios se apropiaron de sus efectivos?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
Has mencionado la fuerza de coalición. Puede que fueran ellos los que estaban contra la pared. ¿No te parece?
Yeah. It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind.
Así que los miembros de la coalición. Sin embargo, los liberales fueron los que salieron ganando de esta guerra y que fueron los últimos que sobrevivieron. Ahora nos queda el asunto de la aldea. Tenemos que darle el chantal a la abuelita para que ella lo lave. ¿Qué pasa? Vamos por el oeste, no te quería ir por acá. Ah, cierto, había una trampa del fásmido que nos faltaba revisar. No sé si estará por acá. ¿Dónde está la maldita trampa? Maldita sea, ¿dónde estará esa trampa? A ver. Nada. Por acá no es. Ah, vámonos nomás. No sirve. ¿Esta señora no tiene casa? Señora, vaya a dormir.
The old woman still sits in her chair. The buzz of electric lights blends together with the slow rumble of the ocean waves at night.
¿Sigue despierta?
Yes, I can't really sleep anymore. Only a few hours a night. It happens when you grow older. My suggestion is don't. Don't grow any older than you already are. That's old enough. What's troubling your mind?
Encontré esta chaqueta, pero está sucia. ¿Le importaría lavarla por mí? Le puedo dar algo de dinero si quiere.
I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
Por supuesto.
No, we must run around ceaselessly.
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Sí, esperaré.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you take better care of it than its last owner.
Bien. Tenemos la chaqueta. Quedan ya unos minutos para las 12. ¿Quién está acá aguantando? Encontramos tu chaqueta, oye.
Tequila Sunset.
Vale, aquí está tu chaqueta, recién lavada. Por si acaso probémosla. No, no pasa nada.
Tequila
Vale, aquí está tu chaqueta.
Sunset.
My jacket?
Sí, está bastante sucia, así que la lavé.
A look of consternation crosses the man's face. He looks at you, then at his bottle, then back at you.
What the fuck are you talking about, Tequila?
¿Está diciendo que esta no es tu chaqueta?
Faum? That's medium concept stuff, not my style at all. I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe you should lay off the booze. It's fucking with your head.
¿En serio la falla no es tu chaqueta? Bueno.
It becomes abundantly clear to you how this man managed to lose his keys, business, friends, and girlfriend. I'm calling it. It's neurological.
Toma la chaqueta.
You know what? Fine. Maybe I can pawn it for some booze.
¿De verdad no recuerdas nada, hombre?
Aye, good thinking.
Vale. Bueno, tu chaqueta no me importa. Ya te la doy y he hecho mi parte del trabajo. Sí, era de una marca y todo, pero... ¿qué haremos? ¿Quién? Yo me voy a quedar a dormir acá.
Yes?
No quiero estar pagando la carta todo el rato. Háblame otra vez del caso.
What do you want to know?
Ahora que hemos examinado la escena, me gustaría saber más sobre la competición de miradas que mencionaste.
What's there to say? It's just stupidity.
¿Qué clase de estupidez?
The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinaise is part of Jamrock or the industrial harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion.
Ah, entonces esto es una pugna sobre quién controla Martinaise.
Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinaise than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
¿Qué tiene de especial Martinaise para ti?
Martinaise? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
Me pregunta qué es esto sobre mí, el haber sido enviado por mi comisaría. Seguramente tengo una increíble cantidad de bajas.
I bet you do.
¿Por qué estás de acuerdo?
The 41st is known to kill people. Often.
Vale. O sea, venimos de la comisaría de matones. Todos en nuestra comisaría son básicamente policías como de Estados Unidos. Ajá.
He neither approves nor disapproves. Yet there is something more there. Something you can't put your finger on.
Tan solo usaré la fuerza letal con el mayor cuidado y con precisión.
If you could only find your gun.
No tenías que hablar de ello.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If not, we should move.
Así que te ofreciste a estropear esta competición.
Yes. I'm an unrepentant spoil sport.
Está bien, ya vale de competiciones. Háblame de otra cosa.
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Lógica, no. Por ahorita no. Que me voy a morir. Vayamos a dormirnos ahora aquí. Hasta mañana, Kim. Yo me voy a dormir en la cama.
It's getting late, and it's raining. Time to call it a day.
Buenas noches, Kim.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Y ahora Kim se fue. Y ahora metámonos al sobre. A Garda no le pienso pagar ni un centavo más ya. Ya le he dado su maldito pájaro. Y así el hombre casi me reclama por haber dado esto. Oye, ¿qué tienes si te estoy dando un pájaro desecado? ¿Quién se queja de eso? Tu pareja te lo rompió y ahora tú te quitas conmigo. Vale. Ay, pero ¿quién es Harry para hablar de eso? El espejo.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see your reflection in it. The expression fixed to your clean-shaven face. You're still not accustomed to it.
Vayamos a la cama.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
Ya estoy dormido. ¿Quién nos hablará esta noche?
Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street. Recorded in you forever on ferrotape.
Girando en la eternidad.
On and on it goes for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep. Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
¿Qué es esto?
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
Los colores, las voces.
All stuck on loop. Whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers, collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
Ahí le has dado, soy un agente del mundo.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
For the money, baby.
Bueno, es un trabajo, pues, ¿no?
For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
Estamos haciendo progresos, cometidos firmes. Okay, acá hay dos pensamientos, el socialista y el capitalista. ¿Eso es eso? O es al revés, capitalista y socialista. A la mierda de la política, este paso no pegaría ojo.
Are you sure? You could be closing the door on a brilliant and special future for yourself.
Sí, estoy seguro. Una Susaina apolítico y además me muero de sueño.
Did you hear that? He's renouncing politics. He's strictly business now.
Ustedes dos me estaban hablando de que es mejor vivir en la nada, olvidar de todo, y ahora me están reclamando por no ser político. Ser político es peor todavía, es un ruido absurdo.
Just another thoughtless vessel, plowing the grey seas of every day.
¿Y acaso el vacío tiene grises mares?
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
Abramos los ojos. 3 horas. Pero si me fue a dormir a las 11:30, o sea, por lo menos dormiré 7 horas. Es malo que duermo en la actualidad. Yo duermo a 5 horas a lo mucho. No. Entre 4 y 5 horas ahora duermo yo. ¿Ves? Por lo menos estás también cerca de 8 horas. Harry, despierta. Harry, ¿qué haces sentado ahí? ¿Por qué no estás? ¿Y la cama la tienes de adorno? Bueno. Es cierto, pongámonos las armaduras. Esta baña me la quiero sacar. ¿Qué tengo? Escalofríos, forma físico.
A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low hum.
Escuchar.
The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, It is cold and windy, but you're inside, and it feels safe and warm.
What is this place to you?
Ay, escalofríos. Tú eres de todos los sentidos, eres el que más me da miedo porque tú te vas hasta la luna, si es posible. El sonido que haría un cráter en la luna. Tú serías capaz de imaginar eso. Mi nueva guarida donde podría sentarme en silencio, beber hasta morir. No. Mi base avanzada para la parte costera de la operación.
Overhead, you hear the forlorn shriek of seagulls. Far below the birds, a wooden boardwalk filled with abandoned stands, tables and benches, echoes from a long-lost time. A middle-aged man stands in a rundown shack on the edge of a fishing village, listening to the heater hum on the wall.
Gracias, sensación extraña, por tu cabal valoración de la situación actual.
Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice.
Look under the floorboards.
¿Qué? Mira bajo los tablones. ¿Qué pasa? Será de los talones de afuera. A ver, vamos a revisar un ratito. Mira los talones. Claro, esto, la señorita, la que lava, la abuelita, nos había dicho que esta choza habían encontrado un policía muerto. De por qué murió todo eso, simplemente lo dejaron como suicidio. Hola, Kim. Buenos días. Los tablones no se puede ver por acá. A ver, vamos a darnos la vuelta. Chicos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? No, parece que no. Lo revisaré por la noche. Podemos encontrar la maldita trampa ahora. Tranquilo, esto es tuyo, no se ha estampado todos los M de Ribachol. Esperemos. Por la carroza. Por la maldita carroza que estropeamos. King, ¿quieres ver la carroza que estropeé por si acaso? Bueno, por acá no está la trampa. Qué raro. Me decía que estaba por el canal que crucé y ese es el único canal que he cruzado. Ya bueno. Vamos a enseñarle aquí. O bien el autor estaba muy confundido o ha ido borracho como una cuba. ¿Quién no vas a decir nada del auto?
Yes?
Lógica. Bueno, ¿qué pasó? Hay un colegio más adelante, un eje que ha roto. Aquí está la trampa.
It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps.
Alcanza la trampa.
The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here.
Mirar más de cerca.
No locus.
No hay.
No phasmid either, but still.
Está vacía.
Your voice echoes on the coast, carried by a gust of cold wind.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others, like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
Pero si ha sido el fásmido y se las comió y salió, ¿qué podría ser? Bueno, ¿qué puede? Tenemos básicamente tienen razón. Esta investigación ha sido una estupidez. No sé si tengo más. Ya, es probable que no haya sido el fásmido, pero aún así hay que informar a Muriel.
We did sort of promise to tell them, didn't we?
Mirar alrededor.
The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums, the constant, distant song. Louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
La constante canción distante. Bueno. ¿Así? ¿Qué es esto? Dinero. Dinero, dinero, dinero. Ah, no, ya no lo podemos sacar. A ver, conversemos con nuestro estimado vendedor favorito para vender un par de cosillas y además para comprar las figuritas para darle a la Virgen. A la Virgen, no, Inocencia Dolores. A la poderosa y aterradora Inocencia Dolores.
You see rows of toys sold. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it to win her back.
¿Recuperarla?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy.
Examinar los caballos.
Big men on big...
Franco-Nigeria.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
This set of...
You're probably... I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could... I don't like I...
No, parece que no había nada. No podemos comprarla. Y esto es de ropas, ¿no?
Wow. A very large red t-shirt with an impressive
No me
print.
digas.
Oh yeah. The print depicts a muscled man striding toward you. A giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers.
Dejemos la ropa que ya tenemos bastante. Roy.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Tengo cosas para vender.
Sure. Let me have a look.
A ver qué tengo.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Pues el curón. La botella me parece demasiado. Parece que no. Quería venderle las...
Another time, perhaps.
Quería venderle la droga. No hay nadie a quien pueda venderle esa vaina. Tenemos droga y licor a rebosar, literalmente. ¿A quién podremos dar eso? Alguien que... no sé, yo no voy a consumir esa vaina. Con el chico del chino de acá, el que está hablando, o el kitico, como le llaman. ¿De acá no hubiera algo nuevo?
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Vale, si el no dice nada. Ahí están los caballeros jugando. ¿Qué pasa?
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
¿Para las calaveras?
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
¿Skulls? ¿Quiénes sois?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
¿Quiénes son las calaveras?
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
Por supuesto que lo sé, solo estoy probando, muchachos.
The skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertnay.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
No decir nada.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
Básicamente pandilleros.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
¿Sabes algo del asesinato que tuvo lugar ahí?
Murder?
Un hombre ha sido ahorcado en el patio de Willings and Rings.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
No me toques la pelota, soy la ley.
He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Sí.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
¿Qué quieres decir?
Fucking philosophy, man. You can do aggressive shit with philosophy. Justify shit.
Cindy la calavera. ¿Cindy de la calavera? ¿Conoces a Cindy la calavera?
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
¿Quién es Van Eyck?
Old man, it doesn't matter. You'll be long gone before his greatness is recognized.
A young woman kneels on a sheet of ice, as if looking for something lost ages ago. She bends until her right ear touches the frozen water. She listens to it crack, slowly.
¿Te estás refiriendo a Liz, a Cele, a la chica que está al costado de la tienda allá con los drogados? ¿Me estás llamando viejo hombre?
Yep, old as fuck.
Hey.
Yeah, man. It's like at death's door. No wonder you know nothing about the future. You won't be there.
Me confundís con vuestra retórica. ¿Sois o no sois calaveras?
We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them.
¿Y qué haces pensar que la organización nos aceptará?
Because we can be just as psycho and vicious. You'll see.
You'll see for sure once we're in. It's the last thing you'll ever see before the void consumes you.
¿Estás de que seguro de que un calavera diría algo así?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're only saying practice things for now, so we don't mean no harm to the Skulls brand, or to you.
This is definitely something the Skulls would say, but we're not trying to encroach on the Skulls brand in any way. On the contrary, we're just here to market it.
¿Así que solo fingís ser tan canallas y degenerados como los calaveras?
Hey, we could be just as hard. Like pavement on top of pavement, or a brick on top of another brick.
Or a grave on top of a grave.
These kids have the vocabulary, but might be missing a brain.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't a grave on top of a grave be just a big hole? What's hard about holes? Filling them up, baby.
¿Por qué no hay más calaveras en Martinaise?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinaise, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
Yo tenía suficiente de su calaverosidad.
Mm-hmm.
¿A qué vienen esas chaquetas?
What about them?
¿Por qué ponen mea en tu chaqueta?
Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And the word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
¿De qué estás hablando, mocoso?
What I mean by this is, we are all piss and that the world is inherently meaningless.
¿Y tu chaqueta o el mundo de...
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though...
Es una metáfora malísima.
You get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking someone. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Oye, King.
Yes?
¿Crees que es una coincidencia? No. ¿Qué te parece sus chaquetas?
Leather jackets adorned with immature writing? The ideology they convey helps the boys justify poor choices in life and fashion. I'm not a fan.
Las chaquetas te están metiendo cánguilo. Está bien.
What are you implying?
¿Cuál te pondrías?
I'm not sure I understand you, detective.
Nah. No, espérate. ¿Eres más del rollo M o del otro rollo?
Neither.
Venga, ¿quién? Es un ejercicio mental de nada.
Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements.
Me parece bien, yo soy más de rollo.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
Oops.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
Ah, bueno, vámonos, dejémoslo ahí. Pide la chaqueta para ti, para ti. Instinto, a ver, ¿qué tenemos instinto? Eso es, creo que esta es la última tirada del día. Instinto. No. Acá está, este. Solo tengo una ropa con instinto. Bueno. Bueno, probemos. Si así nos quedamos con las chaquetas o no.
That ride is fucking
Hey, piss.
Pide
Look who
las
it
chaquetas
is.
para ti y el teniente.
Shrunken cophead material.
No. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that.
Espera, ¿cómo?
Suggest they're massive skulls. Come on.
Chicos, con esas chaquetas vas a ser los reyes de las calaveras en medio que canta un gallo.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think. And we're not even in yet.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly when folks pretend to be them. We're not even prospects yet.
¿No sois ni proyecto de que ya peráis a ser reyes?
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls.
You're destined to go far.
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up! Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Sí, nosotros también queremos ser asesinos de las calaveras, como vosotros, pero no tenemos chaquetas a juego.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
Rey Calavera, redúcenos las cabezas.
Fuck you, man. Take them then.
¿Nos ofrecéis vuestras chaquetas por las buenas? Bueno, en ese caso sería descortés no aceptarlas.
Oh, man. Okay, I get it. Skulls don't really wear slogans anyway. It's just stupid.
Fuck.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
Ya que te dijiste que te gustaba más la de la... me quedaré con la otra.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you.
¿No quieres expresar tu individualismo?
I already am expressing my individuality.
Vale.
I'm not. I don't have a jacket anymore.
Good. I wanted you not to express yours.
Cold-hearted cop.
En fin, como quieras, me quedaré las dos entonces.
Do. I'm fine with that.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone on a street corner with his written on his back, it would just be an individual that has taken a liking to urine. And fuck the world all on its own is, frankly, generic.
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Ay, qué buena es toda esa. Que el mundo mierda más distinto y la otra. Ay, qué buena es todo eso. Bueno, antes de continuar o terminar, gracias por ver este video. Ya terminé con esta sección de Mahoka. La estaré publicando este viernes. Espero que les guste. Y hasta la próxima.